I was one of the first that said I hate that BlackRock is getting in the industry. I hate that people looking at Michael Saylor as some kind of god of Bitcoin. He doesn't own Bitcoin. It's the same like BlackRock. It's like Bitcoin-backed assets. It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin you should be able to take and send to me now whenever you want. So you can't do that with an ETF. You can't do that with a micro-strategy stock. You can't. The guy came in 2017. We have been in this space since 2013. We know what Bitcoin is. We know the core fundamentals. These guys just know in a very smart way how to multiply their Bitcoins by creating debt. I don't think BlackRock or any of these centralized institutes is doing it to destroy Bitcoin. It's doing it to protect their capital. They don't know how much gold there is. They can see the technology. They can see that Elon Musk is flying rockets into the moon and back into the moon, whatever. If we would find gold in another planet, it is only costing like $4 a kilo to transport it back now. They don't believe this gold anymore. They are searching something new to protect their wealth, and they found Bitcoin.
Welcome to the Fruiting Body Podcast with your host, Brendan. We are live here. Well, we're not live. We're in Phuket, Thailand, and we have Didi making another appearance back on the podcast. The last one was a huge success. I think at that time, about 250,000 followers. Today, I believe, is February 15th, 16th, something like that. We might not be airing this till the end of April or sometime in May. Let's see. We'll make a decision later. If not, you get to see it sooner. Great. We're going to try to be answering a lot of those questions that were in the comment, specifically about the gold reserve for Bitcoin in Singapore. He's going to discuss that a little bit more. Is Bitcoin a scam? What's going on in the markets with Trump's presidency, this uncertainty with the war? We got Elon Musk coming in. But the biggest thing, stay tuned for this, and I think a lot of people are thinking about that. We're going to jump into it right now. Being a crypto Bitcoin influencer, security, and how do you handle that dealing, being in the limelight with the media on you 24/7 and creating your own content. So let's jump into that question right now with Didi. So first, thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you, Brendan, for again inviting me. It was a massive amount of views, 250K views in the first video.
I think this gets 1 million over. Wow. Like, this is evergreen content now. Yeah. Once you get to that level, let's say over the next couple of years, I think it'll pass 1 million. Probably be the most famous Bitcoin podcast out there at that point. Okay, we got the hard questions first, and we discussed this before starting the podcast. Being a Bitcoin influencer, are you scared for your life?
No, I'm not scared for my life. It's a very good question. The question is asked us like millions of times by news media, by everyone. Like, how do you feel safe? Because I'm not just an influencer. I'm an influencer with a family. I have 3 daughters. I have a wife. I'm traveling the world. So the first way we solve this in the traditional way, storing our Bitcoins in hardware wallets that we don't have access to. By now, we replace those hardware wallets just by 24 words. Seed phrases that are like divided into 4 different places, 6 words, and you randomly change some of those words, and you encrypt a little bit, and you store them in a way that you don't even have access, multi-signature. At the moment, if I want to get access to my like long-term cold storage, I need 2 people to sign. And if they even sign, it will take 24 hours before those Bitcoins probably get loose from an exchange, etc. There's like multiple setups nowadays. So fear there, no. Fear for my children being kidnapped. Fear for my dog to be kidnapped. The dog, not the kids. The kids, we have discussed this many times as a family. We don't want to live in fear. We want to live to the fullest. I think there are people around us that are way richer that should be fearing this attack by people way more. We don't show off. We don't own Lamborghinis. I don't own fucking huge real estate. I don't have bling bling jewelry on myself. It's not that we are this Bitcoin family that only thinks about himself. We give to poor people. We donate every year. So it's not that, I think there's not that many hateful people that would attack us, but there's always the question, what if? What if my kids go to Patong, go for party night, they're being drugged, they're being kidnapped, they're being locked up, and you receive this text message, you need to send us some Bitcoin. What would you do?
Do you have for example, a fire drill that you've practiced before for that situation?
No, we have some fire drills with the children if we would be attacked at our own place. So that's we have in place at the moment. And because of the Yeah, we get this niche market is getting bigger. In the beginning, it was a niche market. You didn't need to fear anything, but this market is becoming public now. Now, the president of the United States, Trump, is talking about Bitcoin. So our market, the people that recognize us, is getting bigger and bigger. So that fear that you should be having could be growing. So we keep talking about this with the family, telling the kids, if something happens, do this. If something, but it's. You can't prepare. You can't prepare for whatever would be happening to you. So you need to go with the flow. You know, it's just. I think it's very important that we always are very transparent and public to the people out there that if you attack us, we don't have that many Bitcoins with us. Yeah, I have a Bitcoin on Bybit and I have a Bitcoin on my phone. And yeah, you can win 100K. You know, yeah, if people are happy with 100K, you know, what can I do to stop them? But that's like a very small portfolio, a part of our portfolio. And, you know, even on these exchanges nowadays, like Bybit, they can't even withdraw the Bitcoins anymore to a new wallet, you know? And then it's all security.
Because it's whitelisted.
It's all whitelisted. It will take 24 hours. Within those 24 hours, those people of Bybit will be calling me. They will be, because I'm one of their affiliates. Didi, are you really withdrawing this to a new wallet? What is happening? It's like almost impossible to get our coins. It's difficult.
Do you think that's the safety living in Southeast Asia and specifically Thailand? The fear of someone, I think the technical term, is it sledging? Something there's a technical term along there. Yeah. But anyways, the fear would be, I don't think the criminals are getting that far if they were to attempt that. And the Bangkok hotel, meaning Bangkok prison, that's probably enough fear to scare enough people off because you don't want to end up there either.
We are in the Buddhism country, and which karma is still something that has a value here. So people are punished when they steal. But, you know, the last 7 years, we've been traveling 42 countries. The thing that I feel is the moment we kept moving, I felt safer than the moment I started to live 7 months now in Phuket. So the moment you stay longer in a place, that's the moment that fear might rise, because that's like the moment people know that you live there. You showed it in your YouTube videos or whatever stories, they see it. We are receiving messages daily. We found which house you're living in Phuket, which location. We know which garden. We can see your pool. There's all these new things in Google Eye and Google things, and they can find you. But you know, that's as long we kept traveling, I always felt very safe, and especially in Asia. You know, we went to South America, Mexico. We were robbed almost 2 times. One time they came into our apartment. My kids were still there. We were shopping. My kids were there. People started to rob the place. You know, my kids started to call me, film it, everything. They did everything that we discussed. One starts filming, one starts calling. And of course the robbers went, but still I didn't feel safe. I need to go into the security area, live there with my family. So South America was like, that's not my thing anymore, you know. In Asia, we have never experienced that. So I think the Thai people are more happy with what they have. And Europe, we can't go there anymore.
Well, I think in Thailand specifically, it relies so much on tourism that these stories can affect their GDP. So when there is criminal cases, especially coming from a situation like that, the Thai authorities come in and deal with it, meaning like, yeah, oh, you want to rob this guy? Okay, now you're going to the Bangkok hotel for 20 years. Yeah. And you're never getting out. So I think that's enough to scare people off. Like, okay, maybe don't mess around too much in Thailand.
That plus the fact that, you know, we all know that whole Thailand is full with cameras, you know, like everything where I live, everything is full with cameras. If somebody comes in, they are on camera, you know, and it's an island, you know, how do you get off the island? We have seen it like 2 years ago, I think, with a Russian guy here in Bang Tao, something happened. They got him within like 6 hours. You can't leave. So I feel very safe in Phuket. And on the other hand, you always have, you know, when you watch movies, you see it. When you read the news, you read again, family was kept hostage in California until he paid 15 million in Bitcoin. And you see in Spain, and you see in France, you see in the Netherlands. You know, I just had a VIP event here in Phuket. One of my colleagues in the BamBam community was here with me to organize the event. He gets a call in the evening. His wife and kids in the Netherlands are being robbed. They need to give up everything aside of the big savings he had separated. So laptops, jewelry. This guy was a flashy guy. He flew back to Bangkok, flew back to the Netherlands to, you know, be there for his wife. Took him 3 days. He moved to Dubai. The Netherlands is not safe anymore. People are getting robbed if you were like flashy, bling, bling. And why? Because those countries fish in a lot of poor people. a lot of poor people, and all those poor people, they see the richdom that they all have, and because of that, they want the same. And they can't reach that through working because they're not allowed to work in the Netherlands. So what do these immigrants do? They start to rob.
Yeah, I think these places, the world is moving to Southeast Asia. Let's say Thailand, Singapore, Dubai. This is where the elite's going, and let's call it the wealth gap because of the issues in the U.S., Canada, Europe. A lot of the wealthy are moving to these countries. Do you think it's for that reason as well, just for security?
Definitely for that reason. Like all my crypto influencers, we are in a group with more than 60 influencers, the biggest one of the world when it comes to Bitcoin. If you could read that app, how much we are discussing that, why people are moving to Dubai, because they are getting robbed in Ibiza, they are getting robbed in Mallorca, they are getting robbed in Lisbon, they're getting robbed all over the world. They are not getting robbed in Thailand, they are not getting robbed in Dubai. That's why we are all moving here. We don't have any option, and it's the strangest thing ever, because you would think that every professional football player in Europe, which has a shitload of money, would be robbed every day as well. But yeah, they have their money on their bank accounts, and people think that we as crypto influencers are walking around with an iPhone with $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's just not the truth. We are also taking care of our security, of course. But yeah, it's what people think. You know, in 2017, people were still crashing their cars into Bitcoin ATMs because they thought they could get Bitcoins out of a Bitcoin ATM. Like, that's how far we were behind. And yeah, people still think if they walk into a Bitcoin influencer and take his phone that they have a shitload of Bitcoins. It's not that simple anymore.
Have you thought about having personal security?
No. I think personal security draws way more attention. You know, I'm a simple guy. I'm walking around with Bob Marley t-shirts, driving a scooter, not a Lamborghini, like in Phuket. You know, it's like I'm not flashing our wealth because I don't want to flash my wealth. That's not the type of guy. I don't need to fulfill or feed my ego of look what I have. I don't have that. That's why I'm here. Like, I'm happy with what I have, and I'm a simple guy. My family is a simple guy. My kids don't work around in brands. We just order on Lazada, Shein. You know, we are just normal people. If I would have security guys walking around with me when I go into Café Domar, everybody would be looking at you. They all would understand, hey, that is somebody that has importance. Maybe because he's rich. Nah, not doing that.
Yeah, also...
I'm doing Muay Thai.
Yeah, I'm doing Muay Thai. They're not going to mess with it, for sure. I think living in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Phuket, Singapore, Dubai, even yourself, probably as a wealthy individual, on the spectrum, you probably blend into the natural wealth here. It means there's billionaires on this island you don't even know about. Yep. And they're all, no one rocks around flashy. It's very rare that people are driving supercars here. I know billionaires here that drive around a Fortuner. Yep. They wear a shirt they got from a triathlon, and they're wearing, basic shorts. And do you think people are doing that to not cause attraction or just live the simple life?
No, I think people that are very wealthy, billionaires, they understand the real value of life, of time, that's way more precious than any Bitcoin or gold that you can own. So I think billionaires don't care anymore about pretending to be someone. They are so satisfied with themselves that they can be who they really want to be. It's like there's always this story on social media, you know, when you walk into a room and you can see 6 people there in a suit and there's 1 people with a t-shirt. People always focus on the ones with the suit while you'll be focusing on the one with the t-shirt, because that's the guy that doesn't need to pretend to be in a suit. That's the guy that is control. You know, and I think the billionaires here in Phuket just want to be themselves. They just don't want to show off anymore, because then they would be living in Dubai, you know, and going for dinners with this Salt Bay and showing off. They live here because they want to be normal and seen as normal, and they are happy with just normal. And I think that's the strength of Asia. It brings you down. It makes you stand with 2 feet in the sand. You know, it's not like floating like you will be doing.
And also, I feel here you become a bit more humble, because a lot of the locals, and let's say we're in Thailand, they really are more the have-nots. And you wouldn't want to be flashing around at that level around, let's say, the Myanmars around your camp, or just, the local Thais, because how would that make them feel as well? And I notice a lot of people operate this way.
Yeah, I think that is one huge part of it. I think it's also changing a little bit, because there's multiple cultures coming into Phuket now that have a different mindset and that do treat Thai people rude, in my opinion. And I think the Thai really should intervene when it comes to that, because I still don't understand how you can act grumpy to somebody that brings you the coffee with a smile every day. Please go to Spain. They will put the coffee there without even looking into your eyes. They're like, here, your coffee, $6. Here the people look at you. Thank you. You want a coffee? And there are still people that react to those people in the way that I would not be reacting. Like, give me coffee, give me tea. That's I think the normal people that are attracted to live in Asia are not like that. They're like thankful as well. We are grateful for life. We're grateful for being able to live here. We're grateful to be served food still for $1. We're grateful that we also can go to Michelin star restaurants and all that in a very special vibe. I think a lot of rich people start to reflect more on life, reflect more on what they have been doing to themselves, and by that draw back to these kinds of places where the energy is different, like Bali or Thailand, places where it feels special. I think Phuket is one of those places still that feels special, aside from the traffic. Feels very special to me.
Yeah, speaking about the traffic in Phuket as well, obviously where you're located, you can be in that bubble, but leaving that bubble and coming back in is a bit of a nightmare. Even to come out here, you're going to hit traffic, but you're on the motorbike. Yep. Any talk or discussion with the family about possibly leaving because how overdeveloped this island is getting now?
Yeah, yes and no. My kids are no. They're like, we have a lot of friends here. Our social contacts are amazing. They do a lot of fun stuff, partying, but also like beach days and all that stuff. So they have a very big group of friends. So they're like, no, we like it over here. But they also understand that the area we are living now is getting too busy. It's getting really too busy. And they keep building. So I can't even imagine how busy it will be next year, because then 3,000 to 5,000 more apartments will be finished. Like, if they will be full with tourists, we will get like EDC festival days like every day of the tourism season. And that's just too busy. So they should solve something with that. We have been thinking about moving back to Koh Samui, Koh Phangan. That's where we stayed for a long term as well. But yeah, it's Phuket has, I don't know, it has something sticky, something magical that wants me to stay here. But on the other hand, you're also thinking about, I don't want to drive 1 hour on a piece of that I normally take like 6 minutes.
Yeah, you get stuck in that Laguna bubble, and you go out to Bangtao, and you got your beach bars. But after, I've been here 9 years. Yep. After the second, third year, it becomes very repetitive, and you start to get what we call the 7-year itch, where you're like, where to next? I need to get out, because the next thing you know, you've been here 15 years, and now you become that grumpy old man.
Yeah, that itch is in me 24/7. The itch is more in me than in my family. Okay? My family likes it to stay 5-6 months, but after 6 months, even my daughters, they're like, "Hey, this is getting boring. Let's move. So we are planning now what to do in Europe. I just booked tickets for example, Tomorrowland with my family. My kids wanted to go there, and I could get special tickets. So we are going to a festival in July in Tomorrowland.
I think there's one in Bangkok coming.
In 2026, they are going to Bangkok as well. My kids want to travel around Europe for a bit, a little with them, the two oldest daughters. So they will do like spread their wings a little bit. So they are always, because we grew up with traveling, and the youngest one has never lived like a normal life, only a traveling life. They get bored after a couple of months, and it takes like 6-7 months every time, and then you're like, yeah, let's move on.
But if you have the flexibility and that's something you're comfortable doing, why not? You can. There's no reason why you wouldn't do that. We talked about the security issue more like on the death threat level. Let's talk about the actual the security of the crypto itself. Certain influencers out there, Plan B, and we'll discuss as much as we can, is announced that he's converted all of his Bitcoin into ETFs. And I completely understand that from a security level. I don't have to deal with coins anymore. It's in a bank. It's secured. It's pegged to Bitcoin. Would you ever consider swapping everything into a Bitcoin ETF, maybe in a Singapore or Dubai bank?
Yeah, let's be honest. That would kill my full brand. That would kill my full identity. That would kill everything I stand for. So I would never be doing it. Would I be announcing it for OPSEC, or would I be announcing it for safety? Maybe. Physically moving my Bitcoins into centralized storage, I don't think I could do it. I even have issues with opening a bank account. We still don't have a Thai bank account. We don't have a European bank account. It's something in my my brain that's telling me, nah, you're against bank. I'm Bitcoin. I'm decentralized. I don't want to own bank accounts. I want to prove that life on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, decentralized stablecoins is possible without a bank account. For now, 8 years of our lives, we have been able to do that. It becomes a little bit more difficult with all the MiCA laws in Europe and all the KYC and all the regulations. But then again, my hope on Phuket becoming the sandbox for Thailand, becoming the Bitcoin place where the government tells everyone you should be accepting Bitcoins now for real estate and for groceries and for all the businesses, that one is also coming very close now to Phuket. So that makes it, again, for me, a reason, like maybe a good place to stay over here, But it's, I don't think there is many influencers that are hardcore Bitcoiners like me. I know a lot of people will tell you, he's also a shitcoiner because he talks about altcoins. Yes. But for me, a shitcoiner is someone that owns a bank account. Because there is only one shitcoin, that's the euro, that's a dollar, that's any other currency that's being printed out of thin air, backed by nothing. These have no transparency, these have no white paper, these have nothing backing them. These are the true shitcoins. Euros, dollars, all the other fiat currencies are the biggest shitcoins you can be in. As long as you own a bank account, you are not allowed to call me a shitcoiner, because I'm all in Bitcoin, that's my core capital, and yes, I spread my wealth into some other altcoins that are decentralizing the world. So for me, it's just like I can't even think of opening a bank account and exchanging Bitcoins into that bank account, locking myself up again.
Do you think if we went back to the gold standard and the US dollar was pegged to it, would you call it a shitcoin?
No, that would be something different. But that's, I think, we are far past that phase. We are now going into the US dollar-backed Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is going to be the gold of the 21st century. You just saw this beautiful discussion. I think it was Senator Rand from Texas, I think. He just said, is it not time that we audit the golds in Fort Knox?
Fort Knox, yeah.
Do we still have 4,600 tons of gold over there because it's owned by the people? Is it still there? And then the reply is, the last time it was audited was in 1974, 50 years ago. Now Elon Musk is diving on that with his Doge, not the Dogecoin, but
Department of Government.
Okay, and he's diving on that, and he's like, okay, yeah, it should be audited every year. And now that was tweeted like 10 days ago, and since it was tweeted, you can see gold being moved from the UK to the United States, from Germany to the United States. There is no gold, and even if there is gold, maybe it's even fake gold. So this shows the power of Bitcoin over gold. Bitcoin is transparent. If Bitcoin would be backing the dollar, we could all see the amount of Bitcoins that the United States is holding. Everyone is able to see clearly this Bitcoin address is holding so many Bitcoins, so the backing of the dollar is okay. We can't do that with gold anymore. And I think Trump and many other presidents are understanding this. And I think that's why they are becoming so positive on Bitcoin, because they also want to protect the wealth of their country. And how do they protect the wealth of their country? They usually did it by physical gold. They understand there is a new gold, a digital gold, the 21st century Bitcoin, that is acting 10,000 times better than the physical gold, that they can even fly with to the moon or Mars or whatever colony they are going to build. So let's slowly change the narrative of being against Bitcoin into being for Bitcoin. Let's create a beautiful strategic reserve capital in the United States with Bitcoin. Let's make Bitcoin great again. That's what they are doing. So, yeah, I bet on Bitcoin.
What are your thoughts on, Bitcoin, in my personal opinion, is probably the greatest invention in our lifetime, in all civilization, I believe. Do you believe it can hold value as interplanetary and intergalactic transactions?
Yeah. I really do.
Can you
believe
explain
it.
that in more detail?
So for me, it's very simple. It's like when something is limited, it's limited in every planet, in intergalactic galaxies. Everywhere it's limited. There's only 21 million. They can't make more of it. Maybe there is way more intelligent species somewhere out there that think, oh, what is that for technology? We have that technology like 10,000 times better, but still they won't be able to hack the Bitcoin in the way they think they can be able to. Like, people now think these new chips are being able to hack Bitcoin. They don't calculate the numbers. It's like impossible. It's just impossible yet. So for me to be interacting with probably smarter people than us out there, we should be doing it digital. We are not going to send gold bricks to them, Then if they would need gold bricks, they would invade the Earth, and like you see in the movies, and he would take all the gold. Yeah, but the question is there someone out there? I don't know. But I think Bitcoin is the way to transfer capital from here. Let's see, we would found a new place on Mars, a bubble where we can live, and we can, want to bring our capital there. I think Bitcoin is way more easy than physical gold or even fiat currency, because
even on a place like Mars, I mean, as long as you have power, you can run a node.
As long as the sun is shining, we can run a node. We just need solar energy.
Correct.
And maybe there's other sources of energy on Mars, sort of winds that we can't know of yet. That mining is always possible. We only need to mine till the year 2140, so it's another 80 years or something.
And that would be our human civilization code. At this point, with Bitcoin and the cat's out of the bag, I don't think you can reinvent Bitcoin because it would never take off due to some centralized person creating it, and they would be stopped in their tracks. Let's say, what happens, though, in the year 2140 when all the Bitcoin has been mined, and there's no more to be mined? Where's the incentive to continue the blockchain running?
And adoption. I think the adoption in 2140 will be that big that Bitcoin has replaced gold, it has replaced money. So the transactions will be daily, the transactions generate fees, and the miners generate those transactions and thus earn the fees. So I think now it's morely focused on mining, but then it's maintaining the blockchain through the miners. And I think that because of the adoption, Bitcoin will be just used so much, million times a day, that the fees will be enough to keep those blockchains, those miners up and running.
Okay, my concern now is as we're getting hedge funds coming in, such as BlackRock, Fidelity, and whatnot, it seems it's inevitable that eventually they will control 50%. Now, whether it doesn't need to be BlackRock, but I mean, at the end of the day, let's call them the Illuminati, the elite, however you want to explain it, they're all one entity. So if these entities can come together, they can control 51% of the blockchain. What is the risk there? How do we get away from that?
The way we get away from that is by fighting back, and that's what we're not doing. We are cheering that BlackRock gets into the industry. I was one of the first that said, I hate that BlackRock is getting in the industry. I hate that people looking at Michael Saylor as some kind of god of Bitcoin. He doesn't own Bitcoin. He is the same like BlackRock. It's like Bitcoin-backed assets. It's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin you should be able to take and send to me now whenever you want. So you can't do that with an ETF. You can't do that with a micro-strategy stock. You can't. That's not Bitcoin. So people always say, yeah, he's such a good guy. No, like he came late to the show. The guy came in 2017. We have been in this space since 2013. We know what Bitcoin is. We know the core fundamentals. These guys just know in a very smart way how to multiply their Bitcoins by creating debt, nothing else. And for me, BlackRock entering the space just as ETF would not have been like that dangerous. But because I saw that 2 years ahead of that, they started to buy 15% of the top 5 of the biggest miners in the world as well. That made me a little bit scared. That was like, wow. So they're buying into the miners. Then if they also start a spot ETF, they have control on the full story, and then they also bought into Blockstream, which is the biggest core maintainer of the Bitcoin blockchain. So now they have like their fingers and everything, and we should fight that. We should keep decentralizing. We should keep.
How do we do that?
Buying Bitcoins.
Do the hardcore? Yeah, but I think we'll never outbuy them. They just have they're able to surpass us. I mean, would their goal be to own 60% of all Bitcoin and basically try to destroy the blockchain to get rid of this peer-to-peer, or it wouldn't be in their best interest financially because they'd be too invested. So, and I'm just thinking out loud, at a certain point, do the hardcore Bitcoin maxis come together and do a hard fork?
No, that has already been done, of course, the hard fork. Bitcoin Cash is there.
Bitcoin Cash, yeah.
But I don't think BlackRock or any of these centralized institutes is doing it to destroy Bitcoin. It's doing it to protect their capital, against inflation. They don't want to use gold anymore because they don't even believe in gold anymore. They don't know how much gold there is. They can see the technology. They can see that Elon Musk is flying rockets into the moon and back into the moon, whatever. They are even landing back. We are advancing in technology so fast that if we would find gold in another planet, it is only costing like $4 a kilo to transport it back now. So they don't believe this gold anymore. They are searching something new to protect their wealth, and they found Bitcoin. And at the moment it's like 5 to 6% that is belonging to institute. I think it's still 94% that belongs to retail. We should keep that 94%. We should keep pushing it.
Do you think that's that 94%? Do you think that's legit? Do you think that's real, or is it manipulated?
No, I think it's real, but I do think it will change very quickly because the banks, people are just. Maybe we should not call them people. Maybe I should call them sheeple. Sheeple are always obeying their governments and the centralized entities. When their banking app in Thailand or the Netherlands or Spain will show, hey, you can now buy Bitcoins in your app and we will hold the Bitcoins for you, they will start to use that. They don't trust Binance. They don't trust Bybit. They don't trust any exchange. They want to simplify the use. And then the banks are going to do this. This is the step that's going to happen next. The banking apps will all integrate Bitcoin. Revolut, one of the biggest banks, online banks, has done this in 2017 already. They are even evolving now to being able to send $1,000 to $5,000 of Bitcoin out of your banking app into an external wallet every month. So all the banks will follow, and that will simplify the use case of people, and then the people will get mailing lists of the banks. If you buy a little bit Bitcoin into your saving account, you could make 9% a year. And all the people will do that. They won't take notice of the core fundamentals of holding your Bitcoin in an external wallet to be able to use them whenever you want, however you want. They want to be controlled.
Well, they would still have the option to sell the ETF to Fiat, convert the Fiat back to Bitcoin on an exchange, and extract to cold storage. At a certain point, if these ETFs like BlackRock and everyone and every hedge fund, institutional investor decided to go cold storage off a BlackRock ETF and essentially do a bank run, do you believe BlackRock is suppressing the price of Bitcoin today with Coinbase, or the money they're holding, is it matching one-to-one?
I think they are suppressing the price. I think they are suppressing the price.
How can they do that with the audits on Coinbase? Because Coinbase is saying it's a one-to-one. But where would be the mechanics behind that of the suppression? How can someone like yourself, or just someone, there has to be not influencer, but someone being able to do like a CoffeeZilla, to come out and actually go deep into it and be like, we can clearly see here that BlackRock ETF is not being purchased one-to-one on Coinbase. The price is being suppressed, which has already been proven because that's exactly what FTX did.
I think the price are being suppressed by the outflows in ETFs. Every time when Bitcoin wants to pump, like we are now, if you look at the Bitcoin chart today, you can see that we are in this very tight Bollinger Band already for 10 days. This hasn't happened very often. Normally we break out to the top directly if our RSI is bottoming out, so as it is now. But what we can see is every time when we want to pump, there is a spot ETF outflow. So I think yesterday was 400 billion or 400 million outflow in spot ETFs, which is one of the biggest ones since a very long time. So that is how they suppress the price. Because if they keep selling Bitcoins, then the price will stay equal to where it's buying. And there's more selling pressure than buying pressure at the moment. So it's a very bearish signal. It's a very bearish signal.
Who's selling? They're selling, or their clients are selling?
No, I think they advise their client to selling. And I think a lot of clients tell BlackRock, you just manage my capital, make sure I make 9% a year.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So it's not that the clients are calling
They're not
every
even
day.
making a decision.
No, they are like, BlackRock is telling, we will manage your capital. We will guarantee you 10% a year. Are you happy with that? Yeah, I'm happy with that. And they will play around. That's how an investment fund works. It's not like I'm calling my investment every day. I'm like, hey, can you sell now? Can you buy now? That's I'm too lazy to do that. Because I'm too lazy, I give my capital to BlackRock and tell them, this is what I want.
That makes sense. Now, why are they doing it? What's their incentive?
Because they want to wait before, I think, at Trump, BlackRock, all of them collide. And I think that when Trump is ready to announce that they are going to buy 200,000 Bitcoins, and their plan is to buy 1 million Bitcoins in the next 5 years, every year 200,000 Bitcoins, hold them for 20 years. That's strategic reserve that the United States wants to create. So I think they want to help Trump with that, They want to help Trump a little bit buying these Bitcoins below 100K. So I think that will be the next push. He will be announcing the strategic reserve, and then he will start to buy, and then you will see this pump to 120 to 160K.
Well, it's going to be a strategic digital reserve, and it's what's the guy's name? Sachs. David Sachs.
David Sachs. Yeah.
David Sachs is behind it as a big Sol bag holder. So it's a digital reserve. So you're going to see Sol go to the moon. So Sol crashed yesterday, February 15th. It's 178. Mike, I'm very.
I think there will be two reserves. I think there will be a digital crypto reserve. That's the one he already signed for. But I think he will announce a Bitcoin exclusive strategical reserve as well. Because he told the world already, we have 1%, no, we have 5% of the gold of the world. We also want to have 5% of the Bitcoins. So that's the thing that he wants to do. He's going to see this as the gold of the 21st century.
Strategically, I don't believe it makes sense to announce the purchase of the Bitcoin reserve. I think they're doing it right now. Why would you announce it and allow the whole world to front run you?
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they are buying already. I don't know how they would be buying at the moment, but it's very it's very clear. You can see that now 27 states already applied to have a reserve in Bitcoin. So these states could individually already be buying Bitcoin, and by that maybe collectively create this new gold reserve.
But I mean, a Saudi prince can come in with 500 billion and front run them.
Yeah, they are. Like all countries, like let's be honest, Bhutan has been mining Bitcoins already for 6 years. Like they have a shitload of Bitcoin. Nobody knew.
They're doing it through the dams.
Yeah.
I was there. I saw it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And they said, so what they were doing is I was there when they were building it, and I saw the dams because it connects to India. And they said, oh, no, we're building electricity for India with these dams.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's that giant building there? You could see it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, we can't go over there. I'm like, and
Bitcoin
I had
mining.
no idea. I wasn't that into Bitcoin. This
Yeah.
is 2016, 17. I was there 2017, 18.
Yeah.
So I saw that firsthand. So if the U.S. is going to announce that countries can front run that as well, now the mechanics, if you can discuss a little bit the detail, because it's not as simple as people understand. What people don't understand is when you have $500 billion, you cannot go to an exchange and dollar cost boom one shot, because yes, the price could be 95, but with $500 million, your DCA on that purchase might be 120. Can you explain so the general retail can understand that price can't move also because we're about to have a supply shock? What is it? 2.1 million Bitcoins left.
1 million.
1 million left.
1 million left.
So it's a kind
on
of,
exchanges.
On exchanges. It's kind of a two-part question, and people don't understand this fully. Like a Saudi prince cannot show up with 500 billion and get the price at 95,000 and a supply shock. How does that all work, the mechanics? And if this actually happens, I'm talking USA announces the reserve, then you get a front run. I mean, could we not see a 100K candlestick in one day?
So what I've been saying to CNBC, for example, already for years, and I did an interview, but they didn't want to announce it in the interview because they thought it would be too negative. I told at that moment the next war is going to be about Bitcoin. It's not going to be about oil. The next war is Bitcoin. And they told me, what do you mean? I said, the next time the U.S. puts sanctions on a country like Iran or Iraq, and they can't invade them anymore for oil, they will be invading them for their Bitcoin mines. You know, that's what I meant, because Iran and Iraq already started mining Bitcoin with their energy companies like 4 years ago. Like they incentivized their energy companies to mine Bitcoin because of the U.S. sanctions. So that's when I said it, and now it's becoming the truth. I think front running is not. It's not called front running. It's going to be a cold war about Bitcoin. The moment Trump announces that, Russia wants to have the most Bitcoin, China wants to have the most Bitcoin, the BRICS countries, they want to have the most, everyone wants to have the most Bitcoin. So you get a supply shock we have never seen before, because the demand will be this big, we don't have them. There's only 1 million Bitcoins left on exchanges. The rest is all on hardware wallets, external, or already in the hands of investment companies. There is not enough Bitcoins to buy, so you can't buy it. And if you want to buy it on an exchange, you would be pushing the price up. So the only thing that you can do is buy OTC, is what they call it. So this Rudia, a prince comes and he wants to buy 1 million Bitcoins. He can buy it off the market, over the counter, OTC. There is no OTC desk anymore that has Bitcoins. It's drying up.
Yeah.
It's like coming to a country that doesn't have alcohol anymore. What do you think people will be prepared to pay for a bottle of rum? If there is no bottles of rum anymore, the price will go up until the highest offer will be accepted for the bottle of rum. And that's going to happen to Bitcoin as well. And then it becomes so expensive that even those Saudi billionaires or Bhutan will be like, no, that's too expensive. I'm not going to buy Bitcoin at $1 million per Bitcoin, you know? So that's always the demand and supply game that's in every asset. But At the moment, if you do the math, it's just not possible to buy those bitcoins. There's million Bitcoin left on the exchanges. And please understand that those millions are not held by the exchanges. They are held by me on an exchange, by you on the exchange. I need to be willing to sell to somebody. I sell on the exchange, I buy an exchange. It's not the exchange that can sell my bitcoins, so they don't have any influence there as well. Then we have the miners. They're only mining around 400 bitcoins each day now, so that's like not enough for the 5,000 bitcoins we are having in demand every day. So it's everything points towards a huge supply shock being affected by a Cold War, because Trump announced, like, if Trump would use Bitcoin as a digital gold and start to dump their physical gold, then the value of the physical gold worldwide would collapse, which would force other countries like China, Russia, all of them to start dumping their Bitcoin, their physical gold as well, and buy Bitcoin. That's a Cold War. It's going to be an economical war, and we can see that now already by the United States tariffs, 25% if you want to buy U.S. products, Canada, Mexico, France, 25% to Europe. Did you see the shock? Did you see how quickly all those countries, how Japan quickly came to the United States and said, we're going to invest a few $1 billion in car factories now in the United States. We're going to help you, Trump. They are all switching because the United States still has the power when it comes to the world because of the biggest army. So, and who has the biggest army still controls the world, sadly. And I think that is why that massive move of Bitcoin is being made now by Trump, Elon Musk, the whole United States. I think it's going to be an insane supply shock.
Yeah, and this would be a strategic play against the BRICS by dumping the U.S. gold. That would completely destroy their entire plan.
Exactly.
I mean, they must be prepared for that. If they are prepared for that, what do you think they're doing to mitigate that risk?
The BRICS countries? Not. I think they are equally mining as much as Bitcoin as the United States has been doing. Only China banned mining in 2018 or 19. But they came back from that very quickly, and they started to mine Bitcoins even in their neighbor countries, because, you know, that affected then the economy of those countries. Or I do think that all these countries have a shitload of Bitcoin. Like Bulgaria, I think still owns 124,000 Bitcoins because they confiscated it from the biggest Bulgarian mob at that time in like 2017. They have never been sold. They're still in the same wallets. Like all over the world, these countries are holding Bitcoins already. I think it's just the play of like the last 2 million Bitcoin that can be mined. You know, who's going to mine them? Who's going to get control in this Bitcoin market? BlackRock trying that. The BRICS countries going to try it. It's going to be a tool. It's going to be an asset that people are going to fight on. And it's really sad that I need to say it, but I really believe the next war is still going to be about Bitcoin.
You say quite frequently on your Instagram and channel and whatnot that your conservative top for this cycle is probably 160. Yep. Do you just say that to your fans so when it goes to 300 they're happy? What do you truly believe?
I truly believe 160 is the top if I look at TA. So if I look at the charts and I analyze what we should be doing after copying the last 3 cycles, then 160 is going to be the max. If I look at the charts. If I go into my emotions of a Cold War about Bitcoin, every country wanted to have the most Bitcoins, then 300 to 500K would be easily reachable. And I believe in a $1 million Bitcoin in the next 2 cycles. I believe in a $10 million Bitcoin in the next 4 cycles. I believe in that. But this cycle, for me, at the moment, looks most like a 2017 cycle, which will be a single blow off top. Mostly in May, I go away. You know, May, summer, people start to sell, want to buy a new motorcycle to drive in the summer, or a camper, or holidays, or they take profits. The market dips. We go slowly, May, June, July. And then August, it picks up again. And then I think we have this single blow off top all the way into September, October-ish, beginning of October. That should be the top. 17 months after the halving, I think exactly is like 8th of October. And then at 160, I think, looking at how much liquidity would need to reach it, I think would be a very nice top. I think we can all be happy with that top. But yeah, stock to flow model, many other models are showing us 300 to 500K bandwidth. So yeah, if the world economics, the macroeconomics will really turn into Bitcoin, that the news will really like FOMO into Bitcoin, that the people really will be FOMOing as well, even at 100K prices, 150K, because they now believe we will go to $1 million, then I believe 300 to 500K would easily be reachable towards the end of 2025. But for me, 160, is the top if you look at TA at the charts. We can't go higher than that.
Yeah, I was looking at like about 220-ish, my guess. 160, 220. I think it really depends what we do up from now till May. If we can hit like a 180, 160 by May, then you're looking at 250, 300 by the end of the year.
Easy.
It really depends now till May. Now, obviously, with the Bollinger Bands, both on it's more like the 4-hour Bollinger Bands are extremely tight. It keeps looking like it breaks out and it comes back. And it's even we all have long-term.
Yeah,
but I'm a gambler at heart, so you still get emotional for fun. You know what I mean? Even though, like, you got to sit back and be like, just go to the gym. What are you looking at this stupid chart for? It's fun. Honestly, it's Bitcoin is my passion, but it's also a hobby.
Yeah.
Watching this breakout, everything is consolidating. Is this Wyckoff? Is this suppression by BlackRock on the ETFs? Again, we're February 15th. In theory, we should have had some sort of breakout by now. What is suppressing the price? Is it Trump? Is it Elon? Is it the uncertainty? Is it the stuff going on in the war with Ukraine on the macro level? Is it all this uncertainty suppressing it? Now, the positive news, and this is a bit long-winded on that side, the positive news is we're holding at that 90K support so strong, which is a great sign. I mean, if we broke to 85, 75K, and my friends are like, what do you do? I'm like, you wouldn't have time to buy it there. Yeah. It would be so fast. So again, back to the core part of that question, we're in this consolidation, very tightening of the Bollinger Bands. On the macro level, why do you think that is?
I think it's all the things that you said, but also the combination of that we now have 11 million tokens. If you go to CoinMarketCap, we have 11 million tokens. In 2017, it was still 2,000 tokens. So people just have one bag of money. They have 100K or 10K or 1K, and they need to spread that 1K across a couple of cryptocurrencies. Probably, hopefully, 70% to the Bitcoin, to the king, and 30% to maybe 20% Ethereum, some Litecoin, Chainlink, Solana, Sui, whatever. But there are so many now that this bag is being spread across like millions of tokens. So there is not enough liquidity to pump any of those tokens anymore. That's why we are consolidating this long. Then we went into NFTs. Now we have NFTs plus meme tokens plus AI tokens. Everything, all the money just flows into so many different projects that not one of them can explode anymore. And that is what we see in Ethereum. Ethereum is almost 12 months behind Bitcoin's all-time high. Bitcoin made an all-time high in April 2024. We are almost in April. Ethereum hasn't made an all-time high. It didn't go near $4,800 yet. It has never happened before. Why? Because people are spreading the wealth across Ethereum, Polkadot, Solana, Chainlink, Sui, and many others. So there is just a certain amount of money that we can push. Now, the positive part is the M2 supply is increasing. So the United States and China started printing a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, there will be new money flowing into the market. Will that again flow into 11 million tokens, then the market will stay boring like that. And then the Bitcoin price will be decoupling from the altcoin market. That's what we see at the moment. I made a video today on YouTube about this. The Bitcoin price, the first time ever, is decoupling with a huge distance of the altcoin coins. Now, we saw this in 2017, June as well. And in 2017, we saw the same thing. Bitcoin decoupling massively, took 2 months, and then the altcoins came up. Now, historically, February has always been the month in the bull market that the altcoin season starts. So for me, if we would copy history, we should start the altcoin season in this month. Bitcoin has already decoupled for 1.5 months now. So it could now happen that we will, the Bitcoin price is stabilizing sideways, altcoins exploding now, so that the black and the orange line on the chart that I share over times is now again to each other again, sorry. So it's like not decoupled anymore. And then again, move up. And then Bitcoin again. Maybe that is happening at the moment, but there is too many tokens. There's too many tokens.
Bitcoin dominance, it ripped the other day. Like, I think it almost hit, 65%?
65%, yeah.
And now it's pulling back. Yeah. I felt that top was the trigger to alt season. I think we're going to, when we break 60%, it's going to start coming down.
I think certain things like Javier Milei now in Argentina launching the meme coin, Libra 4.4 billion wiped out, 28 million taken by the scammer. This will end meme coin season for a part and make people afraid and be like, oh shit, let's sell our meme coins. Let's start to buy Chainlink. Let's start to buy Sui. Let's start to buy Solana, Polkadot, and that pump again the normal altcoins that have a use case, that have utility. I think that needs to happen because there's the 11 million tokens. I think like 7 million of them are based on Solana meme tokens. So like, yeah, we need to get rid of that shit. And
I think that's why Solana's dumping right now. People are like, what is it? It's the biggest scam chain out there.
I sold all my Solana after the 6th time of an outage. Like 6th time in 2 years. That's like not a blockchain. That's like an SQL database. That's not.
Yeah. So what happens when you want to dump it quick one day and you can't? Yeah. No, it's a nightmare. I don't touch this.
Same with the one that makes you cripple. I don't even want to announce the name. The one with an X. Boy, that one just halted the blockchain. How centralized do you want to be? Just stop the blockchain because something is off. Nah.
No, I don't touch any of that. I touch Doge, but that's only. I'm just waiting for Elon. I have a funny Doge bag, but I think it goes. I'm out at 65 cents.
What do you think about the name combination? Elon always pumping Dogecoin, but also Doge as a.
I got heavy into Doge again this cycle at 8 cents. Yeah. Everyone called me an idiot.
Yeah.
I said, "Are you guys crazy? Elon Musk and Trump are winning this. What do you think happens to Doge?" When he came out and called it that, the best part is no one understands it yet. They still don't see it. They don't see it yet.
Yeah, I already.
And it's going to happen. I'm telling you, like 100%. Wait until Doge really takes off and the merch comes out.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have the dog. And then people are going to go. And then people are. And what I think Doge pumps when the degenerate and retail FOMO enters. And then they're going to go. An American, Midwest American with his last 10 grand is like, oh, yes, I support that too. You're going to have the biggest, it could be 2 weeks. Yeah, and it's going to be a pump, and I'm getting the fuck out. I'm selling. You can just call me direct. I will sell to you guys. It's up to you.
Just imagine that, like Elon Musk is discovering all of these like funds that are being stolen from the American people by the government at the moment, and then doing a tweet like, "Should I put all the funds that I recovered in Doge?" I have the T-shirt already at home. I doubted on wearing it. It's like Elon Musk with Dogecoin, and then state the text, "My financial advisor." So I have it already for my videos, but. Yeah, let's see what happens.
It will pump. It's just you're going to have a week or two, I think, to get out. Yeah. It's going to they go so fast. Look at any chart. It's 2-3 weeks. Don't try to hold that bag. Get the hell out. That's my plan. I think my bullish case is 220. I think 120. I'm out at 65. Swap it all back to Bitcoin. I don't need to get too crazy.
We as a family always have the same strategy. We always dollar cost out around the top. So I will be selling at 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Like my long-term storage will be always in Bitcoin. We are never exiting full. That long-term storage I couldn't even sell at the moment. I don't have access to it in a daily basis. So that one I don't sell. That's my pension fund. That's my gold. But my trading capital, the capital I play around I dollar cost average out. I will dollar cost average in around the bottom, which of course brings us to the question that I get often asked every time. If I sell my Bitcoins now, I ever be able to buy my Bitcoins back? Because people believe there won't be a bear market. There won't be. There will always be a bear market. There will always be a bear market.
Yeah, it's for me, I don't know the answer. I'm 50-50 because if you go look at gold ETF introduction, there was no bear market. This thing went like a hockey stick.
And kept going.
So that's where I'm a bit, you don't want to get caught with your pants down here selling your Bitcoin, and then this thing does turn into a hockey stick. The whole introduction of institutional, the whole introduction with institutions, and I'm back, institutions, it concerns me because you're giving access to a whole other player, and could we have a hockey stick run here?
I don't think institutions want a hockey stick run. We want that. They want slow growth and slow protection of their wealth. They will, what we see now, BlackRock is probably suppressing the price. Then they will keep doing that, and they will keep, they have been playing this game for years, for decades. They know how to, get the Bitcoins out of the weak hands into the strong hands, which they consider themselves as strong hands. So they will keep playing this game, and we are there to play the opposite.
Do you still have family members or old friends that send you the message of Bitcoin's a scam?
Of course.
But at this point, because you've made your wealth, you've proven yourself, you can take one picture from poolside and be like, yeah, it's a scam, don't buy it. At which point, are they just doing it as a troll, or when do they give up?
No, we were just lucky. That's what they always say. We are lucky. We got lucky. People always see the wealth, or they see the rich life or the beautiful life that you're living. They don't see what you give up for that, and the YouTube videos you'll be making, and the trading you do, and the stress you have because of all of that, and the safety, and all we talked about today. So I think all people that ever missed the boat will always be skeptical. They will always be blaming themselves. But when people blame themselves, they become insecure and they like out that to other people. They will never look into the mirror and look to themselves and say, shit, I should have done that. I should have bought in 2017. I didn't. Let's go on to the next evolution of AI, whatever it is, and invest there. But people will always, the guilt and the blame, they will always put it out to other people. And that's us. That's us.
See, I have that discussion when people say I missed the boat.
Yeah.
I can go into the math with them. I'm like, the boat hasn't even taken off yet. What are you talking about? I mean, doing the math with Bitcoin as a percentage of total global economic wealth is, total global economic wealth, 900 trillion, let's call it. We're at 1 trillion.
Yeah.
What is that, a point, 0.5%? Not even?
Nothing.
So if we're going to be going to 5%, let's be conservative, 3%. So to tell anyone, if we're at 0.5% to get to 3% is what, 6x, something like that, 7x, right? Let's call it that. Let's call it 6x. If the price today is at 100,000, well, 6x is 600 grand. So when people say they missed the boat, I'm like, you have a conservative 6x left on this thing in the next probably 5 to 6 years. So you didn't miss any boat. And I think we probably could go up towards to 10 to 15% global. What is your case on the math behind that? And where do you think Bitcoin could be as a percentage of total economic distribution, if that's the right way to phrase that?
Yeah, so I really believe that Bitcoin is the goal of the 21st century. I of course, as a Bitcoin maxi, I would prefer it to be the money of the 21st century, but we are turning it into gold ourselves. So the gold market cap is like 14 to 15 trillion dollars.
It's 19 now.
Or 19 trillion, yeah, the price went up as well. So if we would go and surpass the gold market cap, we would go times 19 at the moment easily, which I believe is possible. So $1 to $2 million per Bitcoin just by breaking the gold market cap is already possible. Just imagine now also real estate developers thinking, maybe we should spread a little bit more funds into the digital gold instead of real estate. As you know, we have an aging problem. Youth is not fucking enough anymore, so we don't have children. So there's going to be a huge supply of real estate. There is not demand in the future. Maybe we should start to invest in different stuff as well. And then also a part of the $80 trillion real estate cap goes into Bitcoin. So we can grow so much further. And bonds.
And equities.
Like 20x from this moment is easy. It's $2 million per Bitcoin. I think if you, I don't know, I think it was Kathy from ARK Investments said that even a $10 million Bitcoin by 2040 would be possible or something. She's aiming for that number. I'm like, okay, I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, people get too lost in the denomination. I don't think until we start changing our terminology to sats that people their brains can change. They just look at it, they go, it's 100 grand, I can't afford it. But they don't understand it's not a share, so you can own it as a fraction. Yeah. They have no clue. They're like, well, if I can't have one, then what do I own?
I think people need to wake up and see and understand the difference between inflation and deflation. They need to understand, as long as I stay in euros or Thai baht or dollars, my cup of coffee will cost me more dollars and euros and Thai baht every year. It will become more expensive. I will be able to buy less cup of coffees, less groceries, less of all of that when I stay in euros and dollars. When you stay in Bitcoin, yes, it's volatile, but at least every 4 years you will be able to buy more coffees. Like when I started, when we sold our house, the house was around, at that moment, 300K. That was around 100 Bitcoins. I can buy back that house now for not even 3 Bitcoins, maybe 4 Bitcoins because of a house. Like, that is what Bitcoin does to your wealth. So you should treat Bitcoin as your core capital. Stay in Bitcoin, and whenever you need a little bit of Thai baht, exchange a little bit to Thai baht, use the Thai baht. If you have Thai baht left, bag in Bitcoin. You go to Europe, exchange a little bit of Bitcoin into euros. If you leave Europe, you don't need euros, exchange back into Bitcoin. We should treat Bitcoin the way you be treating euros or dollars wherever you live at the moment, because that's the safe play. That's the sort of value play. That's the play how to protect your capital against inflation and how to be increasing your purchasing power in a very magical way, because whole world starts to see Bitcoin as a digital gold.
I don't think the average person understands the financial systems and how they work. I'm sure you're comfortable explaining that. Can you explain, like, what is inflation? People don't understand how it works at all. Why do we have inflation? Where is it actually being derived from?
So inflation starts because money is being printed out of thin air. So when there is more money in the market, the value of that dollar will decrease. So you need more dollars to buy or pay your groceries. Like, let's compare it to something else, something that people can relate to. Let's say like this. You live in a village, and in this village, there is one restaurant. That restaurant will be doing great business. It will be beautiful. But if that village will be filled up with 200 restaurants, they need to divide all the liquidity of this village, all the money, on 200 restaurants. They will all be doing a little bit less because of that. So the more restaurants there are, the less valuable one restaurant will be. If there's only 2 restaurants, yes, if you want to sell them, you can get a shitload of money for those restaurants. If there is 500 restaurants, you will be able to sell the restaurant for less money. That's like inflation. It's the same with certificates, diplomas. If your kids goes to university and there is 100 people with a university degree, you will get a job. If there is 2 million people with a university degree, you won't get a job, as there's too many people with that university same degree. So, and that is the same with money. Is there is a few people with bills of $1,000 or $100, it's okay. But if it's millions or billions or trillions of people getting new money every day out of thin air, the value of money is disappearing. So if you look back like 40 years, I think $1 purchasing power is dropped now to 4 cents. So this means the same dollar you could buy like almost 25 times more stuff for in 90-40 than you can buy now, for example. That's like insane. People still believe in this economy. People still believe in euros and dollars. As long people keep printing it out of thin air, nothing backing it, there is more papers around, it will be less valuable. You will be able to buy less goods.
How do we change the ideology of the average, not even Bitcoiner, people that are not even familiar with it, to stop thinking in fiat and thinking in Bitcoin?
We don't. We can't. I say we can't. I've been trying the last 8 years, and I still get people that are very skeptical against Bitcoin, and they still believe in the euro. Because Didi, if I check my bank account, I can still see that I have 10,000 euros. If you check your Bitcoins tomorrow, they could be less valuable. They could be 8,000 euros or 12,000 euros. You are not playing the safe game. But they don't understand that inflation is not on the numbers on their bank account. The inflation is in the numbers of goods that you're able to buy. And that's what people just don't get to understand, or maybe are not in a luxury position to understand. Maybe they are too busy with working and all their stuff and don't think about financial. You know, we are not educated financially in any kind. Our kids are not on schools. Nobody is. That's why we took the kids out of schools. That's why we are educating our kids about managing their capital. You know, keep your capital in Bitcoin, find your passion, do whatever you want, let the capital work for you, increase, and you can do the beautiful things in life. The youngest one wants to help children and dogs, the middle one wants to do something with beauty, the oldest one wants to become an entrepreneur, so they will find their passions. But that education starts completely at the beginning. That's maybe that's too commercial what I'm saying now. That's why I launched this platform, Didi BamBam. It's an educational platform. Because we start with parent books that you can read to babies, you know, to kill children. The Adventure of Didi BamBam. It's a cartoon person. You can read about Didi BamBam as a kid, as a puber, and then through an adult into the course. Because we need to get kids that far that they will open a Bitcoin wallet before they will open a bank account. And that starts young age. And that's what we have been doing wrong with the whole industry. We focus on people that are older, 25, want to have Lamborghinis. We should do what the banks did. We should give the little kids a saving account, a piggy bank, a Bitcoin bank. Here you have $25 worth of Bitcoin. Start to save there and educate the children on that and how to manage capital instead of memorizing books about wars and history about.
Yeah, and not these children's books with transvestites running around.
Oh my God.
We won't get into that. That's a whole other
Don't.
topic.
Next episode.
The inflation, and I think I have a prediction as well. I think we see the breakout of Bitcoin happen next month. I believe Trump appointed Jerome Powell.
Yep.
The head of the SEC. Now, he appointed, head of the Fed, not the SEC's Gary Gensler. So Trump appointed Jerome Powell during his first presidency, before Biden. he has them in his back pocket. Now, they did not reduce interest rates on the last hike in January. But guess when the next one is? Mid-March. My prediction, yes, Jerome Powell said, we'll do two rate cuts. What if both of them are 100 basis points? What are your thoughts? March 17th, we get I don't think we get 100 basis points, but let's say 50 basis points. If we get a reduction in interest rate cuts, March, I think it's 17th, something around there, by the Fed, what is that going to do? Not just for crypto, but for all equities.
Huge pump. Huge pump. Yeah.
Do you think, what is the probability of that happening? Because it's clearly not priced in the market right now.
For me, it is 99.9% because it's not only like the news, it's not only the event, but it's also TA pointing towards that. So everything is pointing towards end of February, beginning of March, huge pump in the price. We can't keep the price down like this. And, it's every time people think it's the news, but mostly it's TA, and then the news comes out at times the news at the TA. And
but I'm surprised. Why haven't the markets built this into the price, anticipating Jerome Powell to do a 50 basis point to 100 basis point cut in March? Because clearly it's not priced in right now. Otherwise, it'd be gone, the price.
I think because retail is not really here yet. So it's like the retail that's being influenced mostly by the news and by all the, the emotional things in the industry. So BlackRock doesn't give a fuck. They know they keep dollar cost averaging. Like El Salvador keeps buying 12 Bitcoins or 1 Bitcoin each day, sometimes 12, sometimes 10. Like the bigger players, they just keep buying whatever the news is. But the retail has just not stepped into it. And I think you were right there. Like Bitcoin is 100K. The retail people are like, 100K for a Bitcoin, I can't afford it. So they don't step in at the moment as easily as they would step in at 10K. At 10K, I can still sell my motorbike and buy a Bitcoin. Now they need to sell a house to be able to buy a Bitcoin, So the retail has problems with getting in, and not only because of the value, but also because of the onboarding and off ramps. So it's becoming very difficult nowadays. Like in Europe, it was still possible with like illegal money, black money to buy Bitcoins, but now because of the MiCA law and all of the regulations, AML, KYC, it becomes really difficult for some people to buy Bitcoin. So that will take time before the retail kicks in again.
Yeah, I'll be golfing with I'm golfing today with a lot of guys. They're older, like 70 plus and whatnot, and they've been buying Bitcoin for 6 years through Singapore ETFs. Yep. And this guy he's big into it, and it's simply they're doing that because you can't train that guy to open a Binance account. Yep. It's just not going to happen. Clearly, retail has not arrived. Do you think they arrive with FOMO from Solana meme coins, or do they start to arrive when Bitcoin really begins to pump on this next pump, probably coming within the next 60 days?
Yeah, I think retail starts to understand more and more that the altcoins and the meme coins and the NFTs are always promising to pump, but not always pump, and just a few of them pump. And I think they start to realize that Bitcoin is more a safe play. And the more Bitcoin will be integrated into the banking system, into their banking app, into all the simplifying ways of buying their Bitcoins, that is when retail will start, because then it becomes a push on the button on their app. That's like, okay, I switch $10,000 to Bitcoin now in my banking app. I think the simplified use is not there yet, and it was there because we had exchanges. You could just use an email address and just sign up, but nowadays you need to do passport, you need to do this, you need to do that, and so people don't want to take the time anymore to do it. And on the other end, people are poor as fuck at the moment.
Yeah, this is
like the economy is like people are not rich. Inflation has made people that poor that
they don't even have $100 extra.
It's like
paycheck to paycheck.
It's paycheck to paycheck at the moment for a lot of people, and sadly, that is also driving Bitcoin into the hands of the rich again, and that's how the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor.
Yeah, but I think I have so much, I think I've gone grayer in 5 years than anything else, but I'm living in a time now mentally where I'm like, if I don't sell, I started my business to buy more Bitcoin.
Yep.
Because I'm like, if I don't buy as much Bitcoin as I can in the next 10 years, my kids are going to be like, what the hell were you doing during those 10 years? And if I don't have an answer, like, what kind of father am I? And we're going to have kids next year. So it's like, I don't think if you don't own enough Bitcoin, like for the next 20, 30, 40 years to the end of your life, I think you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you're stuck in that fiat system.
I think you can't get out of that fiat system anymore. There will be a universal basic income system. I don't think people will be earning normal money anymore. We all know what the plans are. It's a universal basic income, and people will be happy that they can stay for free in a house and get a universal basic income while doing the job that they need to do. And that's the gap that's gonna, I think, be happening at the moment. And I know Trump is going against that, and I know they also made a new slogan again of mega, make Europe great again and all that stuff. I saw a post yesterday by the NATO again with the whole group over there. They want to end the war in Ukraine, and Ukraine wasn't even there on the table. I'm like, this is such a fake show that people keep trusting the wrong people, and that's why they will get caught in this new system, which will be very comfortable for them because they don't need to work really hard. They will get their money. They will get free housing. That's why the private sector is taking over the housing markets. There's a lot of new things happening. AI is taking over all our jobs. It's like it won't take more than 5 to 10 years.
That there won't be lawyers. You won't need a lawyer.
Everything is going to be taken over by AI.
Half the time, like if I do legal documents, I use ChatGPT.
It's better.
And then I show my lawyer. I'm like, "Is this good?" He's like, "I probably couldn't have made that any better."
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, and aside of that, you can still have. And nowadays, we see the new Tesla robots and everything doing house jobs. Like the world is changing really fast in a way that people couldn't understand. The internet took over and changed everything from like calling with a telephone into an app where you can call with. This is gonna be a bigger change. This is going to be a change that we will be jobless. There is no jobs anymore. It's like all going to be, I'm talking longer term, but that forces people into giving up all their safety and security for a universal basic income.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to happen.
It's going to be exponential. There will be a day, I mean, you call it the Oscars, whatever, it's a bullshit awards show, but there will be a day when an AI movie wins.
I think Avatar already won. I think it's like 90%.
Just a couple more questions. One of the questions from the comments, a lot of people ask, as you're unbanked and living around the world globally, and you don't have bank accounts, being in a place like Phuket, well, you still need to get fiat because you need to transact in fiat. How do you do that? Can you explain that process?
Yeah, should I? So you have the legal and you have the illegal way, of course, in Phuket. At the moment in Phuket, it's very simple. So either you pay with your Bitcoin debit cards, so that's debit cards connected to your exchange. So I have a couple of them. I have them even in my Apple Pay.
So connected to like a Bybit.
Connected to Bybit, connected to many other exchanges. But I also have like single debit cards. So like, for example, Redot is a very popular one from Singapore. You just download the app. You send your Bitcoins there. It's a very simple KYC with just your passport or driving license. And then you can spend up to $100,000 per day with this app. So you put it in your, like I put it in Apple Pay and I just pay everywhere if I need to pay like that. But because I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, I always try to search other ways and creative ways. And the OTC market in Phuket is like insane. It's insane. I can send a text message now to a person and tell him, here you have one Bitcoin, for example, which is 100K, which would be around 3 million Thai baht, and he will be here in 20 minutes with a beautiful carton bag full with 3 million Thai baht. That's still possible in Thailand as well. So it's a beautiful place to cash out. I don't know if it's legal. I think it will become legal now that they are going to make Phuket a sandbox. So I think a lot of people are already exploring it. There's like 17 offices as well in Phuket, and you can already exchange your crypto.
There's one around here.
In Laguna, Cheng Tele, there's one, and Boat Avenue there is one. So you can just publicly.
You can show up with USDT.
Yeah. And I think the fee is 2%, which is not really bad because the fee at the banking system.
I saw 1.5.
Or 1.5, yeah, something like that. So it's becoming crypto heaven for me. It's like that's why I'm wearing the T-shirt. To be or not to be, I want to be here.
You're talking about an exchange in Singapore. The name was Redot.
No, Redot is not an exchange. It's just a debit card supplier. So it's nothing else. It's a crypto wallet with a debit card. Nothing else.
So you're selling. You could send your Bitcoin from cold storage to them.
They
send you a debit card, and you use the debit card here.
Yeah,
the KYC you don't need. It's just passport. You don't need a Singapore residency. Nothing. It's just a Singapore company.
If you want to get the physical debit card, then you need to have a proof of address. But if you just want to use the digital debit card and your Apple Pay, then you don't need anything, just your passport or your driving license, and it has a limit to $100,000 per day.
Digital debit card. So when you're going
A virtual debit card.
how would that work? You're scanning at shops?
Yeah, Apple Pay. You know, you just
Okay.
you use your iPhone, you double click this one,
Okay.
and then if I click, you get, like, for example, I can show it. Like, I have, like, for example, my Bybit debit card there, but I have also my Re.Pay debit card there. And with these cards, I just pay everywhere.
Oh, it's a tap.
It's a tap. It's like the QR scan in Thailand. So I pay the supermarkets, I pay the bars like that. I can pay everything like that.
And I'm assuming for security purposes, you're just putting enough there at a time. Like
Just
a little bit.
You
a
treat
little
it like your wallet. Like if you have a purse with a wallet, you can lose
Yeah.
that as well. You just have a little bit of cash in it, and you lose that little bit of cash. This is my cash wallet, but it's a digital one, and I have like 9 debit cards at the moment that we can use all over the world. That's the same way we do it with our kids. You know, my kids also have their debit cards.
We got a crazy.
There he is.
Hey, are you? She's saying, whoa.
The big boss.
I think the boss is here. She's trying to kick us out. My last question was: everybody's moving banking to Dubai, especially for the crypto world. What's the difference of setting up your residency or just in general, like your crypto banking in Dubai versus Singapore? Why would you choose one over the other?
Oh, that's a very difficult one. I think I would always choose Singapore because of it being Asian as well. I like Dubai to stay for a couple of days, but it's just, for me, it's just too plastic, fantastic, materialistic lifestyle. And, you know, I swear a lot. Also in my videos, you know, in Dubai, you can't even send a negative or a swear word in a message in WhatsApp. You get a fine, you know, in WhatsApp. So it's not my country. And Singapore is tax-wise also, I think, very progressive when it comes to cryptocurrency. I think there's a lot of possibilities there to, like, avoid paying too much tax on your cryptocurrency. But I think Cyprus would be even better. Like, you can even decrease to 2.5% over there. But on the other hand, if you're talking about income, you should have a Seychelles setup or something like that. You pay 0% on your income over there, and you treat your capital in the country where you pay 0% on your capital. So Thailand, you pay also 0% on your capital. Singapore, you pay 0% on your capital. Dubai, you pay 0% on your capital. Switzerland, 0% on your capital, but there you need to have an income tax of around 100K each year, so it's a little bit more expensive. So you just play around with it. Our setup is a very safe setup. So we have still Portugal NHR, it means. So the 10 years no tax on Bitcoin in Portugal. They stopped that now. So we are searching for the new solution. We need to have one in the next 4 years.
Yeah, I was looking into Portugal. I wanted to do the visa, the golden visa. Now it's all done.
It's done.
You could have, I think it was 5, I don't know how long ago, but it was on my radar last cycle. So this cycle, I'm like, all right, Canadian passport, let's set this thing on fire because it's probably the most communist country in the world. I was looking at Portugal. Yeah. Just buy a house, get a passport.
350K.
Yeah, but now you can't do that.
No, it's done. Portugal is done, but I think they will reopen it again. But there is many other countries. Turkey now has one, I think.
Do you want lira?
No, that's like 9,000% inflation. I think I don't want to have that one at the moment.
I don't know if I trust. I mean, nothing against Turkey. I don't know. Right now, I've looked all into this. Turkey, Spain's done. Portugal's done. Yeah, you have St. Kitts, but I don't know how valuable that is. And Turkey is the next one where it's still open.
But what is the golden visa? I think there is another golden visa is it Indonesia or... I had a discussion about it yesterday. There's a golden... No, that was Dubai. Sorry. The golden visa at Dubai, I think, is 500K now or 350K with an apartment. And you get 10-year visa without a company setup.
I'm talking passport.
A passport?
Passport. Portugal, you could get a passport up and they changed that.
Ah, serious? Yeah.
Yes.
You can't anymore?
You still can, but you got to live their residency 5 years.
Mexico would be the most easy one now.
Yeah, but I'm not going anywhere. I know people that live there, and it's the same stories. And they lived in Thailand, and now they live in Mexico, and they say the exact same story. I'm like, so you go to the bar? How do you get home? He's like, well, you better call a taxi. I'm like, you can't walk home? They're like, do not walk home. I'm like, this is why I love Thailand. Yep. You could be blackout drunk on the side of the most Myanmar camp, naked, passed out with your money spread out everywhere. Nothing would happen to you.
That's like the amount of times I leave my iPhone on my bike, when I go into a super, I will come back and it's still there, and I'm like, wow, it even has a cover with Bitcoin on it and it's still there. Like, it's like, it's insane. I feel very safe in Thailand. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful country to live in. And I think that also contributes to more and more people coming here. That's why the people move slowly more to Thailand instead of a Dubai or a Singapore. And tax-wise, I think Thailand is also handling tax-wise pretty good at the moment. It's
with this Phuket sandbox, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work because, I mean, the coconut lady on the road, you show her scan Bitcoin, she'll be like, what the hell are you talking about?
They also adapted to QR codes, so they do have this banking QR system, and so I don't think it's a big difference for them.
Huge opportunity for Thailand if they can become like crypto friendly, massive.
And aside of that, what I found out in the last 7 months here in Thailand, it's a cash country. When I go into the shopping mall and I just drink a coffee, the amount of people coming out of the bank with carton bags full of cash, it seems like Thai on Friday go into the bank and cash out their whole bank account every weekend. I don't know what's happening in Thailand.
Okay, so what they're doing is they're sending money to different people back in their farmlands, like in Isan. So let's say you have a cousin, a sister, blah, 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 blah. They're taking out all the cash so that they have all their bank accounts, and then they'll go to those CDM ATMs, and they'll sit there for an hour. Cousin one, cousin two.
That's why they. Now I understand.
That's why they're doing the cash thing.
I was fixed. Like, are they all buying Bitcoins?
I've seen it happen, and it's a long day. Okay, we're well over an hour. The last one got 250,000 views, and it was well over an hour. So just before we wrap it up, I'm going to pass it back to you, to the big camera. If you could just let everybody know where they can find you, anything about your Discord, Didi BamBam, and also where to find you on all your socials as well, right into the big camera.
If you want to know more about Didi or my family or my daughters or my wife or a little dog, then you can visit thebitcoinfamily.com. You will find all the links to all the social over there. You will find everything. If you Google my name, Didi Bitcoin, you will find a lot of stuff as well. I have an Instagram. We have like TikTok, YouTube. I make daily videos over there as well on YouTube. The Bitcoin Family is the YouTube channel. So just Google the Bitcoin Family and you will find us. And if you want to be educated a little bit more about Bitcoin, blockchain, and lifestyles, then you go to didibambam.me. That's our educational platform where my little friend comes say hello. Yes, he wants some Bitcoins as well. Yeah. You need Dogecoins.
Yeah, what are you up to? Okay. All right, that wraps up another episode. Let us know in the comments any questions. And we'll probably have Didi back on, maybe up in Hua Hin, though.
I will come to Hua Hin, play some golf with you.
Yeah, there you go.
When my golf arm is over.
Yeah, it's already injured. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Okay, we're out.